All right, we're ready to cover our pumpkins in plaster. So the most important thing you need to think about while you're doing this would be to keep these individual sections. So if I just start laying and building plaster all over this shape, it's gonna end up just being like a ball, but we took time to try to separate each section. So I would suggest covering each section of your pumpkin separately so that we still get those dividing lines even after this plaster is dry. So your plaster strips should overlap a little bit because we don't want to see any bag area. You can either do the bottom of your pumpkin first or the top. I'm choosing to do the top, so once I'm done with this, I will flip it over and do the bottom. Basically, you just dip each strip in water. I kind of like rinse it off so it's not dripping, and then I take the time to lay it on top of my armature. Again, making sure that I am keeping those sections separate. If your plaster gets all like crinkly, take the time to smooth it out before you put it on your pumpkin. One, I don't want to just lose a bunch of strips because you weren't careful and they all got crinkled up and so we threw them away. And two, I don't want you to just put those crinkled up pieces on your armature because it will dry all bumpy like that. So kind of just go ahead and start covering your pumpkin, making sure if you see any areas that your bag is poking through, you can cover those up as well. And then when you're ready, you will flip your pumpkin over and do the bottom. So the entire thing should be covered in plaster. And then we'll put that little strip of paper that has your name just kind of right on the bottom so that we know it's your pumpkin while it dries. When you're working on the bottom of your pumpkin, it doesn't matter quite as much to keep those sections separated because the bottom of your pumpkin is probably pretty flat anyway. So this will just be a little bit easier. You can kind of lay your strips directly across the whole bottom of your pumpkin rather than how on the top you had to kind of keep each section separate to keep that form or that shape. The bottom is a little bit easier. When you're totally done covering your pumpkin in plaster, your last step is just to dip your finger in some of the water and smooth everything. So if you can this is tricky because you don't want it to move too much. You don't want to alter the shape of your bag armature. So just kind of lightly take your finger and smooth out all of those bumps. The less little kind of like holes you see in the plaster, the better your texture will be once it's dry.